Project schedule planning. In order to develop our schedule, we first need to define the activities, sequence them in the right order, estimate the resources needed, and estimate the time it will take to complete the tasks. Defining activities. The activity definition process is a further breakdown of the work package elements of the WBS. It documents the specific activities needed to fulfill the deliverables detailed in the WBS. These activities are not the deliverables themselves, but the individual units of work that must be completed to fulfill the deliverables. Activity definition refers to everything that we already know about the project to divide the work into activities that can be estimated. You might want to look at all the lessons learned from similar projects your company has done to get a good idea of what you need to do on the current one. Expert judgment in the form of project team members with prior experience developing project scope statements and WBS can help you define activities. If you are asked to manage a project in a new domain, you might also use experts in that particular field to help define tasks so you can understand what activities are going to be involved. You may list and have an expert review it and suggest changes. Alternatively, you could involve the expert from the very beginning and ask to have an activity definition conversation with him or her before even developing your first draft. Sometimes you start a project without knowing a lot about the work that you'll be doing later, which can be facilitated through the use of the rolling wave planning approach. Rolling wave planning allows you to plan and schedule only the portion of activities that you know enough about to plan well. When you do not know enough about a project, you can use placeholders for more information. These are extra items that are put at high levels in the WBS to allow you to plan for the activity list. Now that the activity definitions for the work packages have been completed, the next task is to complete the activity list. The project activity list is a list of everything that needs to be done to complete your project, including all the activities that must be accomplished to deliver each work package. Next, you want to define description of each activity is kept. It includes all the information you need to figure out plus the order of the work. Any predecessor activities, successor activities, or constraints should be listed in the attributes along with descriptions and any other information about resources or time that you need for planning. The three main kinds of predecessors are start, SS, and finish to finish, French. The most common kind of predecessor is the finish to start. It means that one task needs to be completed before another one can start. When you think of predecessors, this is what you usually think of. One thing needs to end before the next can begin. It's called finish to start as the first activity's finish leads into the second activity's start. But sometimes you need to coordinate activities so that they both start at the same time, whereas the finish to finish predecessor shows activities that finish at the same time. It is possible to have start to finish, SF, predecessors. This happens when activities require that another task be started. In addition, there are some particular types of predecessors that must be considered. External predecessors, sometimes your project will depend on things outside the work you're doing. Discretionary predecessors, these are usually process or procedure-driven or best practice techniques based on past experience. Mandatory predecessors are the coexist just because of the nature of the work. Leads and lags, sometimes your project will depend on things outside the scope of the work you're doing. Lag time is when you purposefully place a delay between the predecessor task and the successor, whereas lead time is when you give a successor task some time to get started before the predecessor finishes. Milestones. All of the important checkpoints of your project are tracked as milestones. Some of them could be listed in your contract as requirements of successful completion. Some could just be significant points in the project that you want to keep track of. The milestone list needs to let everyone know which milestones are required and which are not need to be done. You may realize that the project scope needs to change. When that happens, you need to create a change request and send it through the change control. Creating the Gantt chart. A Gantt chart is a type of bar chart developed by Henry Gantt that illustrates a project schedule. Gantt charts are easy to read and are commonly used to display schedule activities. These charts show the start and finish dates of the terminal elements and summary elements of a project. Terminal elements and summary elements show the work breakdown structure of the project. Some Gantt charts also show the dependency of relationships, i.e., precedence network, between activities. Gantt charts shows all of the key stages of a project and their duration as a bar chart, with the time scale across the top. The key stages are placed on the bar chart in a sequence by starting in the top left corner and ending in the bottom right corner. A Gantt chart can be drawn quickly and easily and is often the first tool a project manager uses to provide a rough the time that it will take to complete the key tasks. Sometimes it is useful to start with the target deadline for completion for the whole project, as it is soon apparent if the timescale is too short or unnecessarily long. A detailed Gantt chart is usually constructed after the main objectives have been determined. As per the example shown in figure, key stage K, organized distribution, starts at week 23 so that its endpoint coincides with key stage L, distribute directory. However, K could begin as early as week 17, as soon as key stage J is completed. Key stage K is therefore said to have slack. Key is week 22 because key stage I, print directory, does not start until week 23. Key stage H is therefore considered to have a float. Float time can be indicated on the chart by adding a line in front of the bar to the latest possible endpoint. Thus, slack and float show you where there is flexibility in the. You can add other information to a Gantt chart. For example, milestones could be indicated by using a symbol such as a diamond or triangle. Project meetings could be indicated by another symbol such as a circle. Reviews of progress could be For a complex project, you may decide to produce a separate Gantt chart for each of the key stages. If you do this shortly before each key stage actually starts, you will be able to take any last-minute eventualities into account. These charts provide a useful tool for monitoring and control as the project progresses. Gantt charts are relative during monitoring that you would get from a software package. Various programs are available to assist project managers in scheduling and control. Once the data has been entered, this type of software program helps you to work on what-if scenarios. Creating the network diagram. Many project managers use network diagrams when scheduling a project. A network diagram is used to help visualize the interrelationships of project activities. Network diagrams provide a graphical view of the tasks and how they relate to one another. The tasks in the network are the work path, the WBS. All of the WBS tasks must be included in the network as they have to be accounted for in the schedule. Leaving even one task out of the network could change the overall schedule duration, estimated costs, and resource allocation commitment. The first step is to arrange the tasks from the WBS into a sequence. For instance, some tasks can be accomplished at any time throughout the project, whereas other tasks depend on input from another task or are constrained by time or resources. The WBS is not a schedule, but it provides the basis for one. The network diagram identifies key scheduling information that ultimately goes into user-friendly schedule formats, such as milestone and Gantt charts. The network diagram offers important information to the project teams such as how the tasks are related, where the risk points are in the schedule, how long it will take as currently planned to finish the project, and example of the relationship between the WBS and the network diagram. The first step is the start. Then the road branches in two directions. Going one way, the second step is the pick calligrapher, the third is the address invitations. Going the other way, the second step is the pick printer, the third is the design invitations, the fourth is the print. Here the two roads meet. Then the send invitations follow, and finally the finish. Example of the relationship between the WBS. The critical path. The critical path outlines the sequence of tasks that would enable the project to be completed in the shortest possible time, which is based on the idea that some tasks must be completed before others can begin. A critical path diagram is a useful tool for scheduling dependencies and controlling the flow of the project. In order to identify the